Football fans, and welcome back. Here we go, the final week of the NFL regular season. I'm going to pick all the games, even though most of them don't mean anything. And then I'm going to show you who I think's going to win in the playoffs as well. So how does that sound? All right, here we go. Let's begin. First game, we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers in free fall. I don't see them winning against the Panthers. Even if they do, the Panthers still have a good shot at winning the division and going to the playoffs. So I'll go with the Panthers here. Next game, Saturday night. Saturday night special. Here we go. Seattle Seahawks go to San Francisco or Santa Clara to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers won the first game, but they only won because of Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa's not there anymore, and this team is a whole lot better at playing together than they were in week one. Give me the Seahawks. To win comfortably, I don't think it's going to be particularly that close. San Fran has no defense. Moving on. Green Bay Packers go to the Vikings. The Packers are sitting all their starters because they're already locked in the 7th seed, so they have nothing to play for. They're just going to let Minnesota take this one. So Minnesota gets to win and goes to 9-8 to make their season not look so pitiful. Then we have the Cleveland Browns taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are playing like they were expected to play at the beginning of the year now that Joe Burrow's back and healthy, and I think he's just pissed off. He's playing mad, so give me the Bengals to win this game. Then we go into the Colts taking on the Texans. Oh, well, this game does have some meaning for the Texans. None for the Colts because they have no playoff chances. They're eliminated. But here, the Texans have a shot still at a higher seed. So give me the Texans to win. I think they're gonna play hard. Then we have the Dallas Cowgirls taking on the New York Giants. I almost want to pick the Giants to win this one, but I don't think the Giants want to get a worse draft pick, so I think they're going to just let the Cowboys get this win. And the Cowboys are the definition of mid. They are the only team in the 17-game season, or 17-game league, that can actually have a 500 record. Literally, 8-1. Have you ever seen that before? That is insane. Moving on, New Orleans Saints go to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. The Saints are playing well, but the Falcons just put the smackdown on the Rams. Not the smackdown, they barely won, but in the first half it was a smackdown. Anyways, the Saints, I think they're fine with their draft pick where they are. I think the Falcons, since they're at home, they're going to play hard. And I'm going to give it to the Falcons to take this victory. Then we have the Tennessee Titans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans have played a lot better over the second half of the season. However, the Jaguars still trying to hope for that number 1 seed. I don't think they can get it even if both the Broncos and the Patriots lose. So they're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be helpful for them at all. And after that, we have the Jets going to Buffalo to take on the Bills. They're the Jets, and they're taking on the Bills at home. Give me the Bills to win. I don't need to discuss that one too long. The Detroit Lions go into Chicago. The Chicago Bears are trying to hold on to that number 2 seed. They are eliminated from the number 1 seed. Even if they win and the Seahawks and 49ers both lose, or tie, because they can't both lose, they still can't get the number 1 seed. So it's either Seattle or the Niners getting that number 1 seed, and I think it's going to be Seattle. So the Lions, they might want to play spoiler. They might want to finish off with a 9-8 season rather than an 8-9 season. But I think the Bears are going to try to hold on to that number 2 seed, and they're going to get it done. Then you have the LA Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos. This one is closer than I would suspect, but I think even if the Chargers lose, the Broncos are in the number 1, or they're in the playoffs. The Chargers, I think they're locked into the 7th seed, or they're not. They're competing for the 5th and 6th seed as well, but I'm gonna go with the Broncos, even though this is a coin toss. It could go either way. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I would love to see the Cardinals get some revenge on the Rams, just so the Rams finish in like a worse position, so there's no way they can move up past the 6th seed. But I don't suspect that's going to happen. Give me the Rams, especially since McVay said they're going to play their starters. All right, moving on. We got the Chiefs taking on the Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are trying to maintain the number 1 overall draft pick, and I think they're going to do it. The Chiefs get the win here. Then you got the Miami Dolphins heading into New England. The Dolphins have been playing a lot better lately, so this game might be a lot closer, or might actually go to Miami, but I'm not going to select that. The Patriots are still playing for seed position. If the Broncos happen to lose and they win, then the Patriots are number 1 seed. So they have a lot to play for. We'll go with them for now. Then we got the Washington Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. It would not shock me if the Philadelphia Eagles lost this game. Their offense has played like utter trash. But I don't think that happens. I think they're trying to maintain their seed position, or they're trying to hope they can get that number 2 seed. But I don't think they're going to get it. I think the Bears are going to hold on. You got the Eagles maintaining the number 3 seed. They can't fall down to 4, so it is what it is. Then you have the final game of the week that actually matters. You got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Ravens, after a really bad start, they are now 7-3 in the last 10 games. So they are playing like they should. I don't think they're as good as previous years, but give me the Ravens to win, especially no DK Metcalf. Pittsburgh can't overcome that. Sorry, that's not going to happen. All right, moving on to the playoffs. Now, this is what I have in the playoffs right now. So, the Chargers go to New England. I actually think the Chargers are going to beat New England. I don't think New England has faced very good opponents, and when they have, they've lost. So, give me the Chargers to beat the Patriots, and the Patriots lose in the wild card. Then we have the Buffalo Bills at the Jaguars. I can't pick the Buffalo Bills because they don't have a good pass game and they can't stop the run. So that looks like it favors the Jaguars in my opinion. And then you got the Texans at the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are good enough this year to beat the Texans. Texans win. That would leave in the divisional round the Chargers against the Broncos. That one might be a tougher game than anyone suspects. But I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to beat the Broncos in that spot unless something happens, they get injured. So I'll take the Broncos. Then we have the Texans at the Jaguars. Jaguars beat the Texans this season. However, that defense, if they're still healthy at this time, they might pull away with this one. This one's a coin flip. But I will go with the Texans to win this one. And then you'll have the Texans, the two best defenses in the AFC, going at it in the championship game. I think the Texans have the advantage here. I would take the Texans to go to the Super Bowl. Then in the NFC side, we have the Green Bay Packers would be going to the Bears. The Green Bay Packers and the Bears are very evenly matched. It's really hard to pick who would win, but since it is in Chicago, it gives them a very, 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 very slight advantage. So I'll go with the Bears there. Then you have San Francisco taking on the Eagles. This is a crazy one because San Fran has a dynamic offense but no defense, while the Eagles have a dynamic defense but no offense. So it's literally great defense versus great offense and bad defense versus bad offense. This game is a coin toss. I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. I think after Seattle beats up on the 49ers, it's just going to give the Eagles the key they need to defeat the 49ers in the playoffs. Then you got the Rams taking on the Panthers. This is interesting because the Panthers have already beaten the Rams this year, and the Rams seem to be in freefall mode at the moment. And if they get any injuries in Week 18 this weekend, I don't think they're going to have what it takes to beat the Panthers. So I'm going to actually take the Panthers to win. Shocking even myself here. Then in the divisional round, you have the Panthers going to Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks. We saw what happened last time they played. Seahawks will win that game. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Bears. A good defense versus a good offense. And a bad offense versus a bad defense. This is another one. However, I think it's going to be... Give me the Bears. I take the Bears to win. I could be wrong on that one. I'm probably wrong on that one. It'll probably be the Eagles, but that's just what I'm thinking based on the matchup I'm seeing. And then we got the Bears taking on the Seahawks. The Bears have a good offense, but no defense. Seahawks have a good offense and a good defense. Seahawks get the win. And for the Super Bowl, the winner of the 2025-2026 NFL season. This matchup happened earlier this year, and Seattle was the only one to score more than 21 points on the Texans. I think they do it again. I think the Texans are unable to score. Seattle wins the Super Bowl. There you go. If you like what my predictions and picks are, give me a like, a subscribe. Feel free to comment, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong, or tell me if you agree. I'm up for all of it. Y'all have a great weekend. Let's go play some damn football. Woo!